To Ibrox Stadium. Not for 26 years has there been such a dramatic finale to the Scottish League Championship season. When the league computer threw out the fixtures last summer, it came up with Rangers against Aberdeen here on the final day of the season. Few of us suspected that the sides would be locked together at the top of the table with the same number of points and exactly the same goal difference. After 8.5 months, it's all come down to just this one match, Rangers against Aberdeen. A huge crowd, of course. In all my years of coming to Ibrox, I don't think I've quite known such an air of tension, such an air of anticipation about one match. Aberdeen clearly have the advantage. Although the goal difference is identical, Aberdeen have scored 2 more goals, so a draw will be enough for them. 90 minutes of football to decide who will be league champions 1991. Let's join our match commentator, Jock Brown.
Manager Walter Smith is able to show faith in exactly the same starting lineup as the one which lost at Motherwell last week, because Gary Stevens has recovered from a muscle injury to maintain his amazing ever-present record for the season. Maurice Johnston is Rangers' leading scorer this season. He scored his 19 goals by the 19th of January and he hasn't found the net since, during a period when he's been affected by illness and injury. And that Aberdeen team reflects some tinkering with their tactical formation. Booth and Van der Ark are on the bench, and Peter van de Ven comes into a 4-man midfield with Ian Jess up front beside Hans Hilhouse. And Aberdeen are still without Theo Snelders, so it's a vital match for young Michael Watt. The Scotland under-21 international replaces the injured Snelders for the 12th time this season, and this is only his 20th first-team match. And the referee this afternoon is Mr. Brian McGinley from Balfron, who has been 18 years a Grade 1 official, 13 years on the FIFA list, and he's in charge of this match because the original selection, Kenny Hope, has had to retire early, suffering from an Achilles tendon injury. The most eagerly awaited moment in Scottish football for a very long time has arrived. The biggest showdown perhaps in league history, with the two top sides clashing. Remember, a draw would give the title to Aberdeen. Rangers require a victory. The goal scoring position doesn't matter at all, and these early moments will be absolutely crucial to the pattern of play to develop. It's already established that Aberdeen have shored up the midfield with Peter van de Ven on the right hand side and Brian Grant and Jim Bett in the middle, as Brown plays in the free kick from off the head of Grant. There's Johnston, thumped away there by McLeish. Stevens lofting it in, testing young Michael Watt. Hateley goes up with him. There's Walters, and goalkeeper Watt has been injured. The referee is satisfied that that was accidental, but there's no question that Aberdeen would have expected the young goalkeeper to be tested so early, and this was quite a deliberate ploy. Gary Stevens lofting that in high, leaving enough time for Hateley to make the challenge. The young keeper tried to catch that rather than punch, and he may have been punished for that. There was no free kick as Walters played the ball across. Well, he's already proved himself to be a very accomplished young goalkeeper, but he still has to prove that he can cope with a match of this importance and tension. Getting some words of advice there from his captain Alec McLeish. Worried Aberdeen fans as McLeish takes the goal kick. Good touch on there by Hillhouse. There's Jess. O'Connor. Connor operating on the wide left of the 4-man Aberdeen midfield. Hillhouse with the layoff. That came off the left arm of Hurlock. He's protesting vehemently to the referee that it struck his chest. Bett and Connor debating how to take this free kick. Bett playing it wide for Wright. Shade too high, the young fullback couldn't direct that back across the face of the goal. Stephen Wright playing his 17th consecutive match for Aberdeen, making his full debut only in December against Hearts. Taken down by Hateley, but he showed too much of that to Bett. Well, for the moment it's a battle in the middle of the field. Well, there will be some time yet until things settle down and the ability of the players can come to the fore. Here's one of whom a great deal is expected, Jim Bett. Hillhouse helping it on. There's Nisbet, caught by Hillhouse. And referee McGinley is going to take action against the Dutchman. Well, Brian McGinley deciding he better take some action here, but Hans Hillhouse may well feel a little bit aggrieved because there have been some tough tackles before that one which have gone unpunished. And Rangers have a free kick which Stevens will take. Thrown away there by Van de Ven. He didn't realise he could have let that go for a goal kick. Taking no chances there with the clearance. 30-year-old Dutch midfield player. Walters with a corner. This will be an in-swinger for Watt to deal with. And a bit of bumping and barging inside the 6-yard box. Johnston, I think, adjudged to be the principal culprit. It's a free kick to Aberdeen. Well, Aberdeen intent, of course, in giving as much protection as possible to their young goalkeeper. Here's Connor. The stakes, of course, couldn't be higher. There's Robertson. Halted in his tracks there by Stevens. There's no question Robertson got to the ball first before he was caught by Stevens. Can't really think why Stevens should be complaining. Swift play this from the young Aberdeen fullback, bringing the ball inside Gary Stevens, and then the collision took place. So every Rangers player back to defend as Connor takes the free kick. In goes McLeish. Now Spackman on the break for Rangers. Switching play to the left for Cowan. He's brought down by Van de Ven, and he will also be booked. Well, it's Van de Ven's first foul of the match that I can recall. And in the light of the challenge by Stevens and Robertson a few seconds ago, this could be viewed as harsh treatment for Van de Ven. Johnston's header. Stevens to Spackman. McKimmie finds Connor. Ryan Grant lets that run for Van de Ven. This is McKimmie. Good play from Aberdeen. Now Wright. Just pushing the ball too far ahead, allowing Cowan to make that tackle. He's a very good defender, Tom Cowan. That's why he's been preferred in the side to Chris Vinicombe, I think. Vinicombe perhaps having the edge in the attacking sense, but there's Hillhouse to Jess. Hillhouse again, well tackled by Cowan. It breaks for Van de Ven. The alley cross finds Connor on the left. Back for Jim Betts. Trying the shot on the half volley. Couldn't quite get there as early as he would have liked to take it on the full volley and keep the shot down. But it was a fine move from Aberdeen. Built up on the right, and it came back there from the head of Robert Connor to Betts, whose half volley went well over. But again, there's Jess. Trying a quick turn. Recovers quickly. There's Robertson. Appeared to be caught there by Johnston, yes. The heels were caught by Maurice Johnston. Well, the pitch has been very heavily watered for this afternoon's match, and it certainly has done the trick because conditions underfoot are excellent. All the players playing in their normal studs, and that's a rare treat at this stage in the season. Rangers with the advantage of the wind in the first half. Up goes Jess. Here's Robertson. Well tackled by Nisbet. Now Spackman. McKimmie reacting quickly. There's a chance for Van de Ven going through, and it's Woods on the penalty spot to make the save. Well, that was a great chance for Aberdeen. Created out of next to nothing. It was a McKimmie challenge in midfield which set that up. And suddenly Peter Van de Ven found himself right in front of goal and tried to steer one wide of Chris Woods, who cut down the angle. Well, there was Van de Ven trying to flick that with the outside of the boot, but Woods made it impossible when he came out so far. So we're now 20 minutes into the match. Walter Smith has come down to the track. There's going to be a change made by Rangers as Aberdeen earn their first corner kick. Well, the fourth official, Hugh Williamson, coming out with Ian Durrant. The change will be made before the corner is taken. And having assessed the pattern of play, Walter Smith has decided that Tom Cowan should be withdrawn and Ian Durrant should replace him. Cowan injured, unable to continue. He was taken off the field a few minutes ago. Corner kick headed away. Clearance there by Walters. There's McKimmie. Playing the ball to the far side, trying to get it beyond John Brown. Here's Stephen Wright. The option provided by Van de Ven on the outside. There's Hillhouse! And the best chance of the match so far falls to Hans Hillhouse. It was just a fraction too high for the Dutchman. A delightful ball is played in by young Stephen Wright. Right to the far post. Hillhouse found the gap in defence. His Rangers reorganised following the loss of Cowan. And this could so easily have been the opening goal. Hans Hillhouse stretching for that, couldn't get above it. Hillhouse, Grant, and Mark Walters will be in trouble for that late reckless challenge. Well, referee McGinley determined to keep a very tight grip on things. It was Stephen Wright who was caught by Walters, and referee Brian McGinley brings out the little black book again. Walters is the first Rangers player in trouble. And there was Wright stretching, and Walters just stayed in the way of Wright there. Wright's free kick. Hillhouse helps it on. Spackman doing the marking job on Jess very effectively. Once again, McLeish comes in behind Haitley. And the free kick given against the Aberdeen centre-half. He's explaining that the ball was hanging there in the wind. That's what induced the challenge. There's Haitley again. Trying a little head flick towards Johnston. That's good play by Stevens. Brian Grant's header. And a fine first-time effort by Ferguson. Such power in that right boot, and Ferguson clearly thought the goalkeeper saved that. He's looking for a corner kick, but a goal kick has been given. Up goes Connor. There's Ian Ferguson, now Durrant. Playing that beyond Connor, who took his arm away just in time. Fine play by McKimmie. Well, Connor's experience helping him out there. Almost gave away a very silly free kick, or even penalty kick perhaps. There's Hillhouse, Van de Ven storming up, there's Brian Grant. And a fine effort from Grant. It's a reminder to Rangers they cannot afford to lose concentration for a second in defence. Well, Aberdeen so fluent in this position coming forward. Ball played across by Hillhouse for Grant's first time effort, swerving away from the left-hand post. There's Ferguson. Looking strong and busy in midfield for Rangers. Now Walters back on the left. Cross is too high for Haitley. Retrieved though by Durrant. Get away by Wright, only as far as Ferguson. But it was well taken by Ian Ferguson on his weaker foot, the left. Couldn't quite keep it down. Well, the ball played and headed out there by Stephen Wright, and Ferguson taking this first time on the half volley. It was an excellent effort. So here's Stuart McKimmie in his new role in central defence. Just got the touch. And this bit again, pumping the ball through the middle. McKimmie knew exactly what he was doing with that header. Connor dropping back to left back with Robertson left upfield for a moment. There's Durrant. Haitley. Ferguson. Across it goes to Stevens. Always wants to check onto his right foot though, Gary Stevens. Interception made by Wright. Here's Ferguson. Hustled all the way by Grant. McKimmie's clearance. Walters wants to bring the ball down and take on Wright. Going for the early cross, there's Hateley. It's a magnificent goal for Rangers. 5 minutes from half-time and Ibrox erupts. It's just about the first time in the match Mark Hateley's had the better of Alec McLeish. It was a delightful cross and a masterly finish. Set up here by Walters. Good decoy runs made there, notably by Gary Stevens. That ball flighted across. And this is Mark Hateley at his very best. And what a nothing! Well, a goal of genuine quality. And Rangers now go back into the championship driving seat. Oh, what a goal it was. Hateley's 14th of the season. It took a long time to convert the Rangers supporters as he replaced Ali McCoist in attack, but with his tireless, selfless performances over the months, he's become a favourite of the Rangers supporters, and now he's going to have to go back and help in defence. Chris Woods has overcarried, and there's going to be a free kick to Aberdeen, who will want to reply very quickly indeed. Well, this is another vital moment of the match, potentially. Hateley's back now defending. Alec McLeish has gone forward. Aberdeen now have to come forward and score if they're to win the championship. So an indirect free kick from inside the box. It's turned back there for Robertson. Charged down by Brown. Kimiri turns it across towards Van de Ven. Brown get up well. Walters well tackled by Van de Ven. Well, the Rangers defence grouped quickly there to cope with that Aberdeen attack. Well, the Rangers supporters now sensing the prospect of the championship once again. Jess bowled over there by Hurlock. Well, Terry Hurlock making his presence felt again in midfield. And there's going to be a hold-up. Treatment required for an Aberdeen player. It is Ian Jess, who has not yet recovered from challenge made by Hurlock. Well, Terry Hurlock has not been able to do too much in the creative sense this afternoon, but his spoiling work in midfield has been important to Rangers. Walter Smith has joined Archie Knox in the dugout there. Now there will be some time to be added on at the end of this first half for injury stoppages. Well, that's a very sad moment for Aberdeen. Ian Jess hurtling off, helped by physio Davy Wiley and Stephen Wright. Two strikers on the bench though for Aberdeen, Willem van der Ark and Scott Booth. Played across there by Bet for McKinney. There's Grant. Now Wright. Playing the ball in early. McLeish has gone forward, and he's been penalised for using a bit of leverage there on the shoulders of Hateley. Jess still out of the play, over on the far touchline. He's not fit enough to continue, I don't think. Well, he's limping back onto the field, but I wonder if he'll play much more part in the proceedings. We may see a fresh Aberdeen player in the second half, but Aberdeen will wait to assess things during the interval. Back it goes to David Robertson, and that indeed was the last attack of a tumultuous first half. A match full of tension, but Mark Hateley has settled things undoubtedly for Rangers with a glorious headed goal after 40 minutes, set up by Mark Walters. Rangers had territorial advantage throughout the first half. Aberdeen coping extremely well defensively until that inspired goal from Hateley. So at half-time at Ibrox, it's Rangers 1, Aberdeen 0. So Scott Booth has been introduced to the fray by Aberdeen for the second half in view of the fact that Ian Jess has not recovered from the injury he sustained just before the interval. So that shouldn't change the Aberdeen pattern of play too much, as the final 45 minutes of the league season starts, and there could still be immense drama to come. The score stays the same, remember, Rangers are the champions. So Aberdeen require a score if they are to retain any chance at all. Connor impeded there by Nisbet. Referee Brian McGinley goes trotting across to the Rangers defender. He has a word with him at long range. Free kick's already taken. Aberdeen starting with some purpose. The tackle came from Harlock and Vett. Vett wasn't entirely happy with the quality of the pass. This is Johnston. Waitley had to come back to remain onside. Connor wins it for Aberdeen. There's no free kick. Johnston took a knock there. Going to catch an arm in the face. Push forward. Touched on by Hillhouse. There's Harlock. A long chase on. McKimmie nods it back. Good defending there by McKimmie. Despite the attentions of Haitley, he kept his eye on the ball. A foul's been given to Aberdeen for the challenge by Haitley. Hillhouse playing it on. There's Booth. And now Peter van de Ven. Stevens. Throw goes to Rangers. Another vital phase in the match, this. The Rangers now with the tactical problem about deciding whether to hold what they have or go forward looking for more. Aberdeen left now with no option at all. They have to attack. But they are very studied and careful about that. Normally Aberdeen remain patient, try to keep the passes flowing through the middle of the field. Robertson getting in quickly ahead of Ferguson. David Robertson back to face the ball as Scott Nisbet sends the long throw back towards Chris Woods. Johnson's headed on into space. David Robertson has to be quick. Clearance blocked by Durant. That's picked up though by Connor for Aberdeen. Denied any space though by Ian Ferguson. The throw goes to Aberdeen. Well, Ian Ferguson has such a long time suffering from illness and injury. Now coming right back to his best as the season is ending. Good play by Grant. Space on the right for Van de Ven and Wright. There's the young fullback. Now Betts setting it up there for Wright. Stevens was in the way. Then Walters virtually trampled to the ground there by Van de Ven. No argument about that free kick. So Gary Stevens with the free kick. Haitley playing into space for Nisbet. Up goes McKimmie. There's Booth. Booth caught there by Harlock after the ball had gone. Now referee McGinley must take some action this time. He had a lecture with Harlock in the first half, and there's no question that this time Harlock will be shown a yellow card, and he has no complaint at all on the evidence of this challenge. So Booth has recovered. It's a free kick which McLeish will take. Put away by Nisbet. Durant gives chase. McKimmie at full stretch, needing help from Grant. Retrieved by Wright for Watt. Long chase for Hillhouse for Spackman. Brought kindly for Rangers, straight to John Brown. Haitley getting up again. McLeish didn't follow him that time. Here's Connor, laying it up the line for Booth. The layup was intended for McKimmie, but he's released Johnston. Haitley waits in the middle, he will look to be offside. Well, the referee's allowed the goal! And Rangers are two in front. by Scott Booth. Chris Woods is celebrating, so too are the Rangers supporters. Mark Hateley gets his second. Well, here was Johnston. Now Hateley appeared to me to go into an offside position behind Alec McLeish, but the shot was released by Johnston. Watt couldn't hold it, it bounced away from him, and Hateley was first to react to turn the ball into the net. Well, here's Johnston again, playing that beyond McLeish, blocked by Watt. Well, Hateley in a suspiciously offside position, but to give credit to Aberdeen, very few complaints from them, and now they have a major mountain to climb. The goal coming 10 minutes into the second half. There's Jim Bett. Woods in trouble. There's David Robertson trying to keep the shot down. Woods diving in there bravely. It's going to be a goal kick. Aberdeen trying to hit back very quickly, and there's going to be an alteration made instantly by Aberdeen. They're bringing on Willem van der Ark and withdrawing Peter van de Ven, which means they're going to play 3 strikers for the closing stages of the match. That's scarcely a surprise in view of the score. Up goes McLeish with a header. Van de Ven still in the field. The substitution had not yet been made. Free kick for the challenge by Walters. Let across here for McKimmie. He has a shooting chance. Well, not quite so deadly on his left foot as he would have been on the right. Well, McKimmie striding forward from his back forward position. Aberdeen have to go for broke now. So the substitution has now been made down below us. Peter van de Ven has gone off, and Willem van der Ark is on. Harlock playing it across. Here's Walters. McLeish retrieves it. Plays it against Johnston. He'll accept the goal kick if the ball runs. Good, experienced, composed play by McLeish. Well, he now has the task of lifting his Aberdeen teammates for the closing half hour of the match. They have to score twice to win the championship. There's McKimmie. Now Connor. Aberdeen trying to step up the pace. The clearance came from Ferguson. Straight to Robertson. This is Connor. Here's David Robertson, showing excellent close control. Playing it in low. Here's Hillhouse. And almost met inside the 6-yard box by Booth. Woods did well. So too did Hillhouse. Well, this is good play by David Robertson, playing the ball in low this time. It was screened there by Hillhouse as Brown went down, Spackman rather went down, and Booth couldn't get a touch. Brown did well. That's right. Chase for Booth. Stevens should be quick enough for this. Indeed he is, and skillful enough. Here's Harlock, tackled well by Grant. It breaks for Bett. Angling that across for Van der Ark. Nisbet did well. There goes Brian Grant. An offside flag up against Van der Ark, I think. And John Brown has gone down very awkwardly indeed. It will be a free kick to Rangers when everything settles down, but John Brown clutching his left calf. Well, that's an area where cramp is frequently a problem. Certainly a signal for Ali McCoy to warm up on the track. Well, there's a stretcher being produced down on the track there. Well, he appears to have buckled somewhat as he went down. That can't be cramp, that's for sure. It wouldn't have that effect. And Walter Smith and Archie Knox have gone over to Gary Stevens to give him the instructions to resolve the positional problems created by the absence of Brown. Well, John Brown, a very tough character indeed. He must be in substantial pain if he remains on the ground like that. Well, let's see how this happened. There was John Brown going for the ball all by himself, and his knee appeared to give way there. No one else involved. and he's clearly in serious trouble. He may have damaged ligaments at the back of his knee. Ali McCoist looking very calm, preparing to come on. Well, very sad moment for Brown and for Rangers. McCoist has now gone on, though, to a tremendous welcome. So the alterations being made involve Gary Stevens joining Nigel Spackman in central defence, Terry Hurlock going to left back, McCoist going up front with Haitley, and Johnston dropping back into midfield beside Ian Ferguson in the middle. Headed down by right, here's Alec McLeish. He's given his all for Aberdeen all season, and particularly in this match. Struggling with an injury for the last few weeks. Here's McKimmie. By Grant. Handball by Ferguson. Play shot to McKimmie. Here's Bett in space on the right. The angle cross. Up goes Van der Ark. Not able to threaten Chris Woods with that header. Certainly does provide a new dimension to the Aberdeen attack. His height and awkward style. Troublesome for listen to the singing now from the Rangers fans. So it seems to be all over now. Rangers with his 2-goal cushion and injury time to survive. Aberdeen still looking for the first goal, never mind the second. And they put so much into the effort, they're beginning to look like weary. They're certainly entitled to that. The whistling going on all around the stadium. The championship going to the very last seconds. Here's Robert Connor. McLeish up with the attack. McKimmie on the right. Every Rangers player back defending except McCoist. Here's McKimmie. Playing in the low cross. Johnston clears it. This is Stephen Wright. Bett again making the angle on the right. Going inside Haitley. Cross was won by Spackman. Here's Mark Haitley, the goal-scoring hero, looking for McCoist through the middle. The marker is Robertson. That's good play by McCoist. Needed some help though, didn't have any. So Aberdeen have survived that attack. Now they come forward themselves. They must take great credit for the way in which they've maintained their effort right to the end. Never at any stage has the towel gone in. Here's Hillhouse. Stopped by Stevens. And was he fouled outside the penalty area? Yes, by Hurlock. It's a free kick to Aberdeen. So a late opportunity for what surely would only be a consolation goal for Aberdeen. Here's Jim Bett waiting for McLeish to arrive. Over it goes. And still the Rangers defence coping well with all these Aberdeen attacks. Every eye now on the referee as the ball is out of play, waiting to see if Brian McGinley will bring this match to an end and make it formally Rangers Championship. There it is! Rangers have won the championship. So Rangers have won the championship thanks to 2 goals from Mark Haitley. One 5 minutes before half-time, a header from the Walters cross, and then 10 minutes into the second half, Michael Watt couldn't hold a shot from Maurice Johnston, and Mark Haitley made it 2. Aberdeen then had no answer. They battled all the way to the end. Rangers defended extremely well, despite losing Tom Cowan in the first half and John Brown in the second through injury. But Rangers in the end, running out excellent winners and proving themselves to be genuine champions after this very long season. But Aberdeen deserving tremendous credit for their contribution to the championship race. The moments of celebration begin now for these Rangers supporters. For the players, the sense of relief. It all became so tense in the closing weeks, and particularly in the last few days. But they survived. There are 4 Englishmen there, Haitley, Hurlock, Woods and Spackman, all savouring this occasion in which they won the Scottish League Championship. Well, the players clearly overjoyed. They're entitled to that. Not only did they win the match, they deserve to win it. They played extremely well. They threw everything at Aberdeen early on. They appeared to be hungry for the fight. They were sent out there fired up by Walter Smith and Archie Knox, and they didn't let their supporters down. Aberdeen leaving the field disconsolate. They contributed so much, but it's Rangers who savour the moment, applauding their supporters. It's being reciprocated. That's a performance which the Rangers supporters, I reckon, didn't dare expect. Rangers looking a little bit uncertain in these last few weeks, but Mark Hateley there, coming up trumps at the end with two fine goals. The first, in particular, a magnificent header from Mark Walter's cross. That's what broke the deadlock. That's what took all the strain off and set up these Rangers supporters for a night of sheer joy and celebration. So it'll be a long time, I'm sure, before the stadium is cleared. The supporters will insist, I'm sure, on the return of the Rangers players to take a lap of honour. But down below us now, Dougie Donnelly is talking to Nigel Spackman.
Nigel, congratulations, league champions. How does it feel? The obvious question.
How does it feel? I'm absolutely shattered, to be fair. And I think the celebrations are just about to begin. The lads played magnificent today. I think anybody here, people who see it on the telly tonight, excuse me, I've lost my voice, are going to be amazed the way we played with injuries, people having to come on and play in different positions. And I think over the season, with all the injuries we've had, I think today we just showed that we're a great squad of players and we've done the business when it counted.
You were obviously very down after last Saturday. How hard was it to lift yourselves for today?
Well, I think we just approached today as if it was our cup final and we had home advantage. I think Aberdeen obviously have been playing very, very well, put a great run together, and all credit to them. They came here and tried to win, but we were too good for them today.
It wasn't a day for pretty football, really. It was a day for battling and for getting the win, wasn't it?
I think so. I mean, in a game like that, as I said, many cup finals, this was a cup final for us. Many cup finals aren't the best type of football, you know, but we got the goals today that counted, and in the end, I think we were worthy winners.
Mark's first goal, I think, came at an important time, because Aberdeen, I thought at that point, were just beginning to maybe get on top a little bit.
Well, I think they obviously sat back to start with, tried to waste a bit of time, which was, you know, the right thing to do. But we kept plugging away, and they were getting it down and giving us a few problems at the back, especially with Tommy Cowan have to go off. But in the end, the great ball in, and Mark Hateley finished superbly, and then we just went on from there.
Congratulations. I know you've got a championship trophy to collect. We'll let you go, Nigel. Well done.
Thank you very much, Dougie. Thank you.
So very happy Nigel Spackman, but he's no happier than these Rangers supporters. The big moment about to appear for these Rangers fans. The presentation of the championship trophy will go on in just a couple of minutes. So Dougie Donnelly now is speaking to the Rangers manager, Walter Smith.
Walter, I assume that's champagne you've been soaked in.
That is champagne I've been soaked in. Thank goodness it is as well. We've no baths now, so it has to be champagne.
4 games as a Rangers manager and a championship. How are you going to follow that?
I don't know whether I'll manage to follow it. It's been a tense week, this one, after a defeat at Motherwell last week, and I thought our boys were magnificent to come back from that. And we've had a lot of blows this season injury-wise, and to have won the championship this year, I think is a tremendous feat.
I noticed you were up and down from the stand to the dugout about half a dozen times in that second half. Was the tension getting to you? It must have been, I suppose.
No, the telephone wouldn't work again.
Now, you had to rearrange twice, didn't you, with the injuries, so it wasn't an easy game in that sense either, was it?
Well, it was never going to be an easy one. There was always going to be a lot of tension, and when we lost a defender, we were short in that department anyway, because most of our injuries are in that department. But we managed to cope, and some of the lads like Nigel Spackman this year has played maybe 4 and 5 positions throughout that campaign, and he's been terrific.
Now, you've maybe struggled a little bit to find the net regular in the last few weeks, but Mark Hateley just came good at the right time today, didn't he?
We only needed to score today, that was all. The last few weeks have taken care of themselves.
It's a day for celebration rather than looking ahead, but looking ahead to the European Cup next season, you must be very excited at that prospect.
It's one thing I like about TV commentators. I only get over attention on this one. Please leave the European Cup now.
I know, it's not fair to ask you that. But how hard was it to prepare the players for today? Were they at all nervous or down after last Saturday?
Well, they were nervous. Of course they were nervous. And they were a wee bit down. But, I mean, they're professional enough. They know that last Saturday's game was a one-off situation in terms of they lost a wee bit of discipline and tried to go away and win the match when they could just have sat and we would have kept ourselves there in goal difference. But maybe chasing the game wasn't a bad thing anyway.
Congratulations, Walter. Enjoy tonight.
I'll enjoy it, Dougie. Thank you.
Well done. Thanks. Mark, you've been a lot of places. You've played for a few clubs. How does today compare?
It's like everything. It's great when you're winning. You know, every game you win's are marvellous, especially today.
Man of the match, just to put a little icing on the cake. Well, you're at all worried that you hadn't been finding the net recently?
Obviously, going so long without scoring, I think everybody's starting to get a bit edgy. You know, if your strikers aren't scoring, then you know it puts pressure on the team. We've been scraping through 1-0s, you know, 1-0 here and 1-0 there. But to be fair to the chaps, everybody's rallied round, got behind each other, and we knew at the end of the day that you know if we worked at it and stuck together, that we'd get there.
What was the attitude going into the game today? Because you knew that you had to win, a draw wouldn't be good enough.
That's right. Well, we've been preparing all week for one game, you know, one cup final, and Rangers in a cup final, who'd bet against us?
What about the atmosphere out there? I don't think I've ever heard it quite so noisy here at Ibrox.
Well, they're brilliant. You know, the pack them in. I can't wait till we get 52,000 in there. It'll be frightening for opponents. They get behind you, and you know, they rally you on, and they get that little bit extra out of you. You know, when you're down in the last 5 minutes, when your back's against the wall, and look at them now.
Did it put any pressure on you at all, knowing that, you know, several weeks ago it looked all cut and dried, and gradually the lead was being whittled away?
It's never finished till the final ball's played. That's the way you look at it. You play from Saturday to Saturday in this game, and as proven today, you know, we should have had it, you know, wrapped up a little while ago. Unfortunately, we had a few suspensions and injuries, and at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's just reward for the boys. You know, we all stuck together, and we came down to the final Saturday. Again, injury problems, and we beat them 2-0.
So scenes of joy among these Rangers supporters. The news from Ibrox says that after winning by 2-0, thanks to Mark Hateley goals, Rangers are the 1991 league champions.
And Nigel Spackman raising the league championship trophy aloft. Rangers delighted after seeming to have lost the initiative in the championship race after Aberdeen's great late run, but it all forgotten today, and really a performance of great character and determination which absolutely delighted the Rangers fans. The championship trophy then taken on its lap of honour around the stadium. The singing, which had hardly stopped all afternoon, seemed to grow in intensity, and poor John Brown, who has a torn muscle, and of course Tom Cowan has a fractured fibula, out there, crutches and all, to join in the celebrations. And Walter Smith, can there ever have been a manager who has taken charge of a side for just 4 matches, a total of 6 hours of football, and at the end of it a league championship trophy? And didn't Walter enjoy the day? And celebrations, I'm sure, still going on long into the night in Glasgow and indeed throughout Scotland. Those Rangers supporters who undoubtedly felt the tension through this week, and the emotion getting to Ali McCoist. It's not been the happiest of seasons for McCoist, but my goodness, today more than made up for it. So those fans no doubt still celebrating, but Rangers are the B&Q Premier Division champions. And let me say firstly, Derek, that I don't think I've ever heard such a noise inside Ibrox.
Gaza McCoist there, wasn't it? You're right, Dougie. I mean, I was there for 15 years. I've never heard noise and excitement like this afternoon. Absolutely incredible, the noise the fans made this afternoon.
It was a very tense game. We never expected a great game of football, and it wasn't a great game.
Because it was so tense, you're never going to get a good game of football. There's so much pressure on the 22 players that are out there, Dougie. It was all going to be hammer and tongs, really, and that's exactly what happened today. And Rangers really played with the heart today. I think a lot of fans before the game, before it started, didn't fancy Rangers' chances, but I think the 13 players that played there today showed them that they can actually play with the heart as well.
The timing of Mark Hateley's first goal I thought was crucial, because before then Aberdeen had 2 gilt-edged chances to take the lead, hadn't they? We'll take a look at those. First of them I think fell to Peter van de Ven, and he'll watch this tonight and
well, it was a defensive mistake, Dougie, yeah, but I don't know what he tried to do there. I mean, Hans Hielhuis really there is raging at Van der Ven there. Should have done a lot better. I mean, it was so casual there, wasn't it? It was like a pass back from a defender. I don't know what he tried to do. Whether he tried to chip the goalkeeper because he was far out, we don't know.
And this is the Hielhuis header, which again he will no doubt feel he should have done better with.
Well, it's one of them, Dougie. You go for it. You know, I don't think it was too high for him. He was just trying to place it. Nigel Spackman at his back, and I think given another couple of efforts at that, Dougie, I think he'd have scored at it. But it was perfect height for him there, and like Rangers last week at Motherwell, it just wasn't to be their day as far as putting the ball in the back of the net's concerned.
Because at that point, I mean, Aberdeen were certainly going through their best spell of the game, but what a great goal this
Well, pick that out. I mean, Joe Miller have been proud of that one, as I've kept saying through the weeks. But Mark Walters once more, you know, he only needs a yard to get in a good cross. Look at that, defenders all around him, superb cross, and look at that. One of the few times he out-jumped Alex McLeish in the game, but the important time of the game, magnificent header in the back of the net there.
Now, what about this one? I think you disagree with me, but I think Mark Hateley is in an offside position there.
Well, it's hard to say with the angle of the camera, Dougie, but Maurice Johnson's gone through. It was a bad defensive mistake by Aberdeen. You know, he's through there, and he's got to have a shot there. He has a go. It's not the greatest of efforts from Maurice, but the goalkeeper, who was very nervous all afternoon, dropped that one, and of course Mark Hateley, as all good strikers, right on hand to tap the ball into the net.
So there we are, Rangers champions. I think all credit, though, to Aberdeen, because after all, we were saying 6, 7, 8 weeks ago that the league was all sewn up.
Well, Rangers were top of the league since mid-November, Dougie, and they were 10, 12 points clear in January, and everyone thought it was finished. So well done to Aberdeen for keeping it going so long, but today was certainly Rangers' day.
Who were the outstanding players? There were 2 or 3 particularly, I think, in the Rangers.
There were obviously Mark Hateley scored the 2 goals and played very well, ran himself into the ground, but for me, I think Gary Stevens was absolutely outstanding. He started the game at right back. When Tom Cowan went off, he went to left back and was outstanding, and finished the game at centre back. I thought he had an absolutely magnificent game this afternoon.
Quite an afternoon at Ibrox, and indeed the fans arriving for today's match at Ibrox had another topic to occupy their attention before kick-off time.